Alright, what's going on, guys? It is your boy TKD122 here, back in your PlayStation Source, and of course there's been a lot of good things happening involving PS5. A lot of cool games are coming out, all that great stuff, right? However, we do have a death in the family here at the PlayStation family. The PlayStation 4 Pro and some other PS4 SKUs are going to be laid to rest here pretty soon in Japan. Let's talk about it. So yes, you heard that right. The PS4 and specifically some SKUs of the PS4 and mainly the PS4 Pro are going to be discontinued. Of course, this is coming to us from Push Square, link below in the description if you want to check it out. But the PS4 Pro in Japan, they're going to stop making them and stop producing them as well. So pretty much what it boils down to is that now in Japan, in the Japanese market, at least right now, you will only be able to get the PS4 Slim model, 500GB storage space for that specific model. No more PS4 Pros, no more other PS4s being manufactured as well that aren't that slim 500GB model. And so they do have a direct reasoning as to why they did this, which is very much, honestly what you would expect it to be. It is so that they could free up manufacturing lines for the PS5 and have the ability to make more of the PS5s and meet that demand that they have been struggling to meet as well up until this point. Because I know a lot of people here watching this video, I'm sure a lot of you have not gotten your hands on the PS5 and you intended to buy one, or you are still looking for one and you just can't because the supply just keeps running out left and right. It gets selling out left and right. So it definitely makes sense as to why they would do this from that standpoint and everything. But I do want to talk a little bit about whether it was the right move at this particular time to discontinue the PS4 Pro specifically. But like, first off, definitely what it is, when it boils it down to, it definitely does make sense to discontinue a lot of the PS4 models and the PS4 Pro, because when you think about it, the PS4 Pro was still retailing at $399, but so is the PS5 Digital Edition. So why would anyone buy a PS4 Pro when you could get a PS5 Digital Edition? Or if you have a lot of physical games, might as well spend that extra $100 if you're in the market to already spend $400 to get that PS5 with the disc drive in there anyway. So it definitely does make sense overall when you look at it from like a store stock standpoint. Why would they want to push the PS4 Pro when they have the PS5 already? And at that point, might as well just start doing the best they can to fully stock PS5 to its full advantage to run through that supply and everything. But there is a whole another thing that I want to talk about that definitely does connect to the cross-generation games that we are seeing right now, with a lot of titles in the future, those being of course Horizon Forbidden West and a bunch of other games coming from Sony first party that will be PS4 and PS5 cross-generation games. So last gen, the PS3 ended production back in 2017. That is 11 years of when it first released versus when it was discontinued. Now of course, taking the PS3 model is definitely not going to work with the PS4, because if you guys, I'm sure you all are very much aware, PS3 games could not be natively played on PS4. However, PS4 games are of course playable on PS5, as we know very much well. So the point, that being said, is that there was kind of a reasoning why the PS3 had those kind of long legs of like nearly over a decade in the market, as opposed to the PS4, where it kind of doesn't need to have that long of a market space, because the PS5 can do everything the PS4 can do in terms of playing games and everything. So when it's all said and done, yeah, the PS4 is ending production at nearly 7 years around there for the base PS4, and of course the PS4 Pro only have 4 years on the market. So that really does speak a lot to if the hypothetical eventual PS5 Pro is a thing, is it even worth it? And that's a whole different side conversation that we will talk about, I'm sure, later on down the line. But they're gone, they're all said and gone. And I think that what is the main thing that I kind of instantly thought of is, okay, so with these cross-generation games, right, like with Horizon Forbidden West, right, is it better to have a consumer that for some reason is not buying a PS5 and is buying a PS4 for them to go for the base PS4, essentially, because it's not the base, it's a slim PS4. There's a little bit of refinement there, but would it be worthwhile for them to get a PS4 that has the same innards and same performance as the original PS4 versus the PS4 Pro? Wouldn't it you expect them to just have the PS4 Pro be the main PS4, right? And this goes over to, of course, tech in terms of, you know, iPhones do this whole thing where, you know, if there's like a 5S or whatever, that becomes the main iPhone 5-esque of that over time, then eventually gets phased out as newer tech comes along, right? So I figured that they would do the same thing here with the PlayStations, but I think overall it makes sense because you gotta really like realize it and really step back, and I definitely did, was that, you know, the PS4 is a lot cheaper to manufacture, a lot cheaper to produce, and also it is the most popular PS4, obviously, it being the first and like original one, because the PS4 Pro, as of 2017, was only 20% of the overall PS4 sales. And so pretty much, you know, that is like 3-year-old numbers right there that we are saying, but overall, like, you know, it's a fraction of the overall PS4 sales, you know, in terms of a hardware standpoint, right? So it definitely does make sense that, you know, overall the PS4 is definitely way more popular than the PS4 Pro. And on top of that, you got to assume that the PS4 Pro has to be more expected to produce as opposed to that PS4 Slim as well. So keeping those prices down, and also, I mean, you know, like I said before, why would you want to buy a PS4 Pro when the PS5 is already here? That is a, you know, much bigger leap in that standpoint. So overall, guys, that is pretty much it. Not a lot to talk about there. I just wanted to just kind of just give some thoughts that I had a weird journey with this story in terms of like, oh man, like it was kind of weird how they weren't keeping around the PS4 Pro. I thought they would. I thought that they would make the PS4 Slim, you know, phased out and discontinued, and have the main PS4 Pro be the main PS4 if someone were to buy it in 2020. But it definitely doesn't make sense when you all break it down and everything. But let me know down in those comment sections, what are you guys feeling about this? How do you guys feel about it? Do you hate it? Do you like it? Were you going to get the PS4 Pro eventually? You know what I'm saying? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and make sure also while you are down there, you can check out our description where you can find links to our Discord, our Twitter, and our Anchor link, that way you can listen to long form content in podcast format. Those of course being Road to series, as well as a new podcast here coming up in the very near future. Like the video if you enjoyed it, as well as hit subscribe to PlayStation Stories to keep up with the latest and greatest in PlayStation. Thank you all for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.